Okay, I got myself one of these fland loaders. It's kind of a toy as far as machines go. I was just pulling a log splitter around with it. But yeah, these things are just terrible to operate. When they come stock, they come with a pretty big pulley in there on the engine. I'm going to get us a light because it's in there. And I'll show you what I did. Okay, in there they had a big 4-way pulley on there. Well, these are 5/8 belts. You don't need 4 belts. They overdid it with that. So I just bought a double pulley for the engine. That's the smallest I could get on Amazon. It's like 3 inches across. The original is like 4 3/4. So I put this littler pulley on there, and I was actually able to get enough adjustment out of the pump down there. You can see the slots. I got enough adjustment out of the pump there to tighten up the pump belt. Well, I used original belts, so this only costed me like $20-some for that pulley. And then I made a little idler that bolts up to the engine, and it goes to that belt with a little spring on it going to the frame. And now we have a spring tensioner, because the only way to adjust this belt here is to lift up the engine and put shims under it. Well, I didn't want to go through that. This way the belt stays tight, nice all the time. This unit also comes kind of strange, but it comes with no grease fittings. It comes with the holes. At least in my case, there's holes, but there's no grease fittings in them. So just this, these little things make this machine actually work pretty nice. It is a very nice speed with that like 3-inch pulley on there. And like I said, it was only $20 or whatever. The original pulley had no set screws in it. This one does. It has set screws. The original pulley was coming loose on the shaft, and there was a bolt holding it on. Well, that was no good. It was actually wearing the shaft and wearing the pulley. And then they had some pokey washers behind it, which I left on there. I got to take them off. But I'll loosen that belt up with my spring tensioner and just loosen them 2 bolts and pull this pulley and get rid of them. And it'll stop that noise. But I left them on there just for experimentation purposes. And like I said, this machine is like a totally different machine. It goes nice and slow. You can dig into the pile. And the hydraulics are not as jerky. Even the steering is not as jerky. It fixes this machine so quick and easy. And it's like a different machine. It doesn't stall when you steer it anymore. It doesn't stall when you dig in anymore. And it doesn't jerk all over the place. You can actually use second gear to cruise around. It's pretty fast, but first gear is slow enough and powerful enough to dig into the pile. So that's what you want to do, is just change that engine pulley on there and make sure you put grease fittings in, which I ran out. I did some of them, but I didn't do the rest because I ran out. I got a selection over there, unless I use angle ones, but yeah, I'd rather put all straight ones in it. So I'll pick them up in the morning, put them in. But that was like a $25 fix, and it's beautiful. I also hate this electrical being down here when there's another switch up there. So I'm going to run this up, and I'm going to run this charge wire right through the amp meter, so the amp meter actually works and everything. And I think it's kind of cool. It's got signal lights on it, and even the roof, though, is like such a toy. It's just like, it's a roof. It's not a ROP, it's not a protective thing, but man, is it cheap junk. It's like, it's mine sliding out of there, actually. It's probably still sliding out of there. Yeah, it goes down more. It's actually vibrating itself out. But yeah, it is kind of a cool machine. Wondering what's inside. I haven't torn anything apart yet. But it's funny, this big, heavy cast iron transmission under this thing. has the shifters on the side. You can see this. Now, look how much play is in that brand new transmission. They got a little plastic bushing that's like beat when you buy the machine, and it's actually out of the hole again. Now you gotta push it back down, but it keeps working its way out. I'm thinking about putting some goo on them and pushing them down, maybe some silicone, and pushing them down and put a clamp above them or something just to hold them in. But they made this big, heavy looking transmission, which actually hangs down too low. Later on I want to make this hydrostatic. But they make this big transmission and put plastic bushings in them. I'm wondering what's in the rears. I really am so curious to see what's in there. So I'm wondering if there's plastic bushings instead of real bearings or what there is. But they look kind of good. That's kind of why I bought this machine, because it articulates and it's got nice looking rears. I think that I might, if they're any good inside, I might keep them. I might keep the frame, and definitely I got to flip that engine around because it blows heat right up you. So you know, this machine is going to be, if the rears are worthy, I'm going to be changing a lot of this around over the winter time, so it drives like really, really nice. But for now, that pulley made all the difference in the world. And like I said, it's fine on a single belt. You actually have a couple spares when you do it this way. So good luck with your fland loader machines. You can actually make it work pretty normal, and it's a decent machine to run around and do cleanups with. It's kind of nice. I like it. It's been very handy so far. Well, that's it for my little tutorial thing, I guess you could call it, on this fland loader. I'm out of here. Well, I was going to cut off this video yesterday, but then I found out a few more things that should really be gone over. I got the grease fittings and everything. There's some in there for the front. There's these two mains for the pivot. I got all my grease fittings in all over. Got it all greased up. Then I went and I checked the rear differential. Okay, I also should show you. There's also grease fittings up in here above the differential. There's one there and there's one up in here. So you got to put them in and grease it, or this whole thing will wear out, and that's not good. But the rear differential, I checked the fluid by pulling the plug, and yes, there was oil in it, but it was almost 2 quarts low. So that has to be filled up. It's amazing, these guys in this country, the American people, you know, us, we buy these machines from China, and then they resell them. Well, if I was a dealer, I think I'd go over the machine. That differential took 2 quarts of oil to fill it. The back one took 2 also. So don't forget them grease fittings. And then you got the gearbox. There's a plug up in there for a level, which is this one down here. But anyway, there's a plug in there for a level, and you got to fill the trans too. I threw 1 quart in it and ran out of oil, so now I gotta throw more in. But yeah, make sure you get all the fittings in and grease it and oil it, or you won't last long. So now I'm out of here. I think I got our video. Well, I'll actually run this a little bit and scoop some stuff and show you how it works in a little bit. So I'm just going over it yet. But yeah, this machine is it's kind of weird. I hate the way they blow the heat of the engine on your legs, and you know, we're gonna work on it. Okay, I got a chest mount on here. We got a trailer to go get, and before it would have been almost impossible because this machine is so terrible and geared really high. I'm trying to get this chest mount to work for you. I still have to change this ignition switch over. It's way down here on the engine. But let's see how this all works now. Oh, Went in the gearnizer. See, mine goes nice and slow now. In first gear at least. Smooth it takes off because I geared it down. Before it would have been jerking all over the place. I like these articulating machines because of this. Yeah, I can swing it that way. Notice it didn't stall when I oversteered. Well, it used to. I'm gonna have to back up more. I got it goofy here. There we have it, the smoother running, smoother operating fland loader. It works pretty nice. I didn't have my hitch very tight, it slid around a little, but it got her in here, no problem. So that's I guess the end of that video. Just check your oils, put all your grease fittings in, and put that smaller pulley on. That's the big thing. And then it works pretty darn normal.